Picture the scariest person you have ever walked past on the street. Now give them a Harvard medical degree, the lungs to run a marathon, and the hands to land a fighter jet. That is what comic books call a peak human. Batman, Captain America, no ceiling, no weakness, good at everything. And it raises a stupidly simple question. Out of the 8 billion people actually alive right now, who is the closest thing we have to that? Here are the rules. Because they decide the whole thing, peak human does not mean the strongest guy on earth, or the fastest, or the smartest. It means the entire package at once. Strength, speed, endurance, agility, a sharp mind, and the nerve to use all of it under pressure. The fictional version could win a gold medal in every single Olympic event, then step off the podium and out-argue a philosopher. So we are not hunting for one world record. We are hunting for the human being with the fewest holes in their game. And that one rule turns out to be brutal because of a fact about your body that never switches off. Real humans specialize. Every gift you build quietly charges you for another one. The strongest man in the world can deadlift over 1,000 pounds. He also cannot sprint, and he would be sucking air jogging to the end of your block. Usain Bolt, the fastest man who has ever lived, once ran a 4.2 second 40-yard dash in sweatpants, 9 years after he retired. For fun. He could not deadlift half of what that strong man lifts. The best marathon runners on the planet weigh about 120 pounds soaking wet. Because over 26 miles, every extra pound of muscle is just dead weight you have to carry. Muscle that makes you strong makes you slow. A frame built to go forever can barely push a heavy door. You simply cannot max two stats that pull in opposite directions, and almost all of them do. That is why the specialist wins their event and then loses everywhere else. Throw the world's best powerlifter into a pool against a competitive swimmer, and he goes straight to the bottom. Put the swimmer under a loaded barbell and he crumples. Being the greatest on earth at one thing is, by definition, a hole in everything else. So the first instinct is to reach for the biggest freak athlete you can name. And the freaks are very, very real. Prime LeBron James was 6'9", 260 pounds of muscle, moving like a man 60 pounds lighter, with a 44-inch vertical leap and a photographic memory for every play he has ever run. Brock Lesnar was 300 pounds, won a UFC heavyweight title, did a backflip off the ropes at that size, and nearly made an NFL roster having literally never played football in his life. Bo Jackson was a Major League All-Star and a Pro Bowl running back in the same era, a genuine professional in two different sports, which almost nobody in history has pulled off. But hand any of them the full test and the cracks show up in seconds. LeBron is a savant on a basketball court, but drop him into deep water for a breath hold dive, and that 113 kilo engine torches its oxygen almost instantly. Not one of these men is finishing a marathon. None of them train the mind the way the comic book version demands. They are the best on earth at one specific shape of athleticism, and that shape has sharp edges. So you change tactics, you stop looking for the biggest freak and start looking for someone built for variety. And here it gets interesting. A decathlete runs 10 different events over 2 days. Sprints, distance, jumps, throws. They are never the fastest sprinter or the best jumper in the stadium, but across all 10 at once, nobody lands closer to the bullseye. Gymnasts might be the purest physical answer there is. Total, absolute control of every muscle in the body, to the point that the greatest UFC fighter of all time openly admitted he cannot keep up with the things they do. And then there is the CrossFit champion, competing in a sport engineered to have no specialty on purpose. Running, Olympic lifting, rowing, swimming, gymnastics. All scrambled together and kept secret until the morning of the event. One man won that thing 5 years in a row. If the bar is simply good at everything physical, he's already standing on top of it. But here's the trap. Every name so far is an athlete, and peak human was never only about the body. The fictional version comes with a genius brain and ice in his veins. Strip those out and all you are doing is ranking gym numbers. The real answer has to be strong, fast, durable, smart, and calm, while people are trying to kill him, all inside the same skull. People have chased this combination forever, by the way. Plato, the philosopher, was a competitive wrestler whose very name was a nickname meaning broad shoulders. Teddy Roosevelt was a war hero who studied at Harvard and beat his own childhood asthma by basically refusing to lose to it, which is how you arrive at a man almost nobody brings up in a fight argument, who then quietly walks away with the entire thing. His name is Johnny Kim, and every single thing I'm about to tell you is real. He was a Navy SEAL, over 100 combat missions, a sniper and a combat medic who dragged wounded teammates out of live gunfire, decorated with a Silver Star and a Bronze Star. Then he left the military, went to Harvard, and became a medical doctor. Then he became a NASA astronaut. Then he qualified as a pilot. There is a mathematics degree with top honors buried in there somewhere too, almost as an afterthought. He does not hold a single world record. He is not the strongest or the fastest man alive. What he has is no weak category whatsoever, an elite body, an elite mind, and a will that has been tested with actual bullets. Most people would build a whole identity around any one of those lines on his resume. For him, they are side quests, and that is the answer, sitting in plain sight the entire time. The closest thing to a peak human is not the person who reaches the highest single peak. It is the person with the deepest floor. No soft spot, no event where they completely fall apart. You can feel exactly why the comic version has to be invented. Batman gets to deadlift like a strongman, outrun a sprinter, outswim a diver, and outthink a scientist because nothing about him has to obey the trade-off. Real flesh always pays the bill. Push any one number all the way to its limit and your body silently drains every other number to fund it. So maybe the truest answer is not a famous person at all. For 200,000 years, the closest thing to a peak human was just a healthy adult who could track an animal across open country for 3 days until it dropped, then climb, swim, fight, and read the land well enough to make it home alive. A generalist in everything, because specializing got you eaten. Drop the strongest man on earth into the world, take away his gym and his microwave, and he would not last a week. There is no Batman. The search for him only ever proves it. The closest we will ever get is whoever has the fewest places left to break, and that person will never be the very best at anything, which is the strange part. The price of having no weakness is never getting to be the strongest, and being the strongest always, quietly, builds you a weakness somewhere else.